It is rumored in this old town that on rainy nights you should never leave your house, for you might not return. This may seem silly to folks who have never set foot here before, but I assure you that the rumors are true. It was a late night in October. The rain and storm had beat down for days on end. My younger brother was living with me at the time, and he was in desperate need of medical attention. He had attained some kind of disease from his travels. I had nothing I could do, besides call the doctor. I knew how dangerous it would be to travel in the rain, but something had to be done. When I called, the doctor's wife answered the phone. She told me that the doctor was out of town, and would be for the rest of the week. However, she would deliver some painkillers as soon as she could. I thanked her very much and hung up. I sat in the fireside chair and waited. The sound of crackling calmed me down a bit, and I drifted off to sleep. I awoke to the sound of a car pulling up in front of the house. I was a bit disoriented from sleep, and stood up with a twitchiness in my feet. I carefully walked to the front of the house and looked out of the window. I saw the doctor's wife getting out of her car. She hadn't parked too far from the front of the house, so she only had to take a few steps before reaching the porch. It was very brave of her to travel in this kind of weather, in this kind of town. She got out of the car, getting fresh mud on her shoes. I watched as she calmly closed the car door and started walking in the direction of the house. I counted her steps in my head as I watched with concern. 1, 2, 3. There were only a few more steps. She could make it. 4, 5, 6, 7. My count abruptly halted. It looked like her foot got stuck in the mud. I saw her bend down slightly and tug at her leg, but it wasn't working. Then I saw her foot sink deeper. I opened up the window and shouted, asking if she needed help. She said she was fine and would be there in a moment. Then, something unexpected happened. A long tendril shot up her leg and coiled tightly around it. I watched in horror as it began to pull the doctor's wife down. She screeched in terror and tried with all of her might to unlatch her leg. I was walking out of the door with great urgency to try and help, but by the time I made it to the porch, she had been dragged down up to her shoulders. I screamed too, as her head disappeared into the mud. The only thing I could see now was her flailing hand in search of something to grab hold of. Tears streamed down my cheeks as I watched the rest of her become enveloped. I never knew what exactly pulled the doctor's wife into her muddy grave, and I never want to know. No one has recovered her body, and the police would rather not discuss it. All I can tell you is, this town is cursed, and you should not leave your hotel tonight. It looks like a storm is picking up.